Now the Longines Singapore Gold Cup for 2011, field of 16, one emergency, 2,200 metres, and they're on the long course. I probably should have mentioned that too. Race number 10 is on the long course. The races 10, 11 and 12 on the long course. So they'll start at the 200 metre mark and then do a full lap of the track. Big field, barriers obviously important. And let's flip the page. Speed Baby will have the blinkers off. Clint will have blinkers back on. So he had them on when he won the Derby. Paulinho will have blinkers on. Nandara will have the blinkers off. Wore blinkers last week over the shorter 1,400 metres. Well, Andrew, are things falling into place for El Dorado, the winner of the Gold Cup in 08 and 09? He's come up with barrier 1.
Yeah, everything's going perfect at the moment here for El Dorado. He missed the Cup last year. He had a fair break away from racing, but he's back and he's in better form this year than what he has been when he's been able to win his last two. The previous Gold Cups, and working well, drawn a good gate, so should get every chance. No reason why he can't win it. And Flying Fulton, he's had a strong preparation. He's had plenty of mileage in him, and he's just an iron horse. He's still strong at the end of this gallop. He had another gallop on Thursday morning on the turf. If he can stay the distance, I think he's in there with a winning chance. Just a little bit of a question mark in the final furlong for him, but he's going well. And Honest Broker was allowed to let rip in the home straight here by S. John, who's been able to pick up the ride on Honest Broken. I think it's a nice pickup ride too. He's proven at the distance. Just the question mark on him at this level, but that was some nice work, and I'm expecting him to run a big race here, Honest Broker. Yes,
his last run behind Lazar was very good. We'll have a look at that soon. He copped 11 ratings points for that. Now we're going to have a look at the Raffles Cup. We'll have a look at it a couple of times and pick out horses here. Always Certain was very, very good in this. Speed Baby had a bit of a checkered run. I thought his effort was quite smart.
Yeah, I thought he ran a reasonable race in the Cranji Mile. He got caught wide and he finished in the end back in 6th. So I was pleased to see him run well over 1,800 metres. I think he's still a bit of a query over 2,200 metres. What there isn't a query on is his class. He's a Group 1 winner here in Singapore. He's done a terrific job. Stephen Burridge has thought about travelling with the horse, and the other horse here, Always Certain. Well, because of this win, he shoots up to 111 rating points. He's going to have to carry the 58. He's going to have to carry the top weight. He has got a good barrier draw. If Jury can give him a quiet run, you never know. He's a nice stay, Always Certain.
Now we're going to point out a few more here. El Dorado, nice sneaky run. Rims, Risky Business, Flying Fulton, Paulinho, and Clint there as well too in the Oscar racing colours.
Yeah, and Flying Fulton's into the clear, got plenty of clear. Like Clint hasn't got a lot of room to move on the inside. And look at El Dorado. You can see doesn't get fully wound up. He sort of keeps running into sort of dead ends. He shouldn't have won the race, but even though they're finished down the track, even Risky Business behind them, they're horses that can come out of that race at weight for age and really turn that form around. And Flying Fulton, he's tough and he's going to really love dropping down in the handicaps.
What do they do with Clint here? He drew one in the Derby. He had the blinkers on. He got a lovely smother up on the inside. I've been tipping him for the last few weeks, so I'm going to stick with him. But obviously there's going to be a fair element of luck from the barrier draw.
Yeah, I was keen on Clint if he had drawn barriers 1 to 5, maybe 1 to 7 for this race. And the fact that he come up with the awkward draw, I just thought it might be too hard in such an open race. It's going to be hard. If he could get a run like he did in the Derby, it's going to be great for him because he can run out the distance, but where is he going to end up is going to be the key.
One thing going for him, he does have John Powell in the saddle, and John Powell can just put him in remarkable places from terrible barriers on occasions. Honest Broker, this was a very, very good run. He copped 11 ratings points for this. Lazar, well, we know he can run the 2,200 metres now, I guess.
Is the winner coming from this replay?
Don't know.
You think so, don't you, Frost?
Possibly.
Yeah, I think he's a good chance to Lazar. I would have liked to have seen him win with a little bit more authority. He sort of, Honest Broker was pulling ground off him, martial art. Just the way the race, it was a strange old race with no tempo, so it's hard to get a good guide out of that. I must admit, after that race, I'm probably no more confident going into it than what I was.
That told us nothing, that race, because they went 2 seconds slower than the Class 5. The first 5 past the post are all going to be in the race. The other one that wasn't highlighted was Hint. So the winner may well have been in that, but it was very hard to get a guide on them. I thought Martial Art, despite the fact he was a long way back, he still got to the post well enough and did enough in that.
I thought he was the best cup pointer from that race, Martial Art, but you know, they all went well for different reasons, I guess, the way the race was run. At the post position draw, the barrier draw on Thursday morning, we caught up with some of the leading candidates for the Longines Singapore Gold Cup.
Yeah, well, he's drawn awkward. One thing I've got to admit, but we've got to ride him to run the distance. I've taken the blinkers off him, so hopefully he may be able to get a tail up behind something. Yeah, gate number 15, and probably have to ride him the same. Hope for a bit of rain on the day wouldn't go astray. He's fitting well, and if he gets the same run, he'll win again. Yes, he's got no weight on his back. He'll run the distance, very fit, and if he has any luck throughout the race and if there's a bit of give in the track, I'm sure he'll run a jolly race.
Yeah, obviously we'll have to sit down and discuss what tactics we're going to use from that barrier draw, because, you know, we don't know if he stays out that distance. He's never won over that trip. He's been over 1800 before, but I think this will be a tough task from that distance. So obviously we're going to have to discuss it. You know, I'd like to have had a stronger pace just to see if he sees out the distance, but he's very well. He's got the barrier, and we'll be doing our best at the end. Looks very well, training very well, trialled very well. Sami on top, you always got a big chance. He knows his course back to front, he knows the paces.
Yeah, middle of the line, so there's a bit of speed in the horses get back, so he should posse probably midfield, and he'll travel no matter where he sits.
Clint, not so much fortune with the barrier draw on this occasion.
No, look, we didn't, but it doesn't mean we can't win, and the horse is good, so we'll see what happens. Oh, look, I think the horse is going fine. The races he's been in probably haven't suited him. Importantly, the blinkers go back on. He hasn't had them since the Derby.
No, that's good. He probably needs a really good barrier draw. He's going to run about midfield, I would think. And going into the first turn, if you can save a bit of ground there, it always helps. Yeah, he does stay. He's a bit one-paced. He doesn't have a big sprint about him, but he keeps rolling. I would say be in the first 2 or 3 in the running.
I was hoping we could get a good inside draw to give him the easiest or softest run possible. I'm really happy with how he's trained on from the raffles, and I'm not really concerned about the distance. It's obviously just carrying that weight. He's a very light-framed horse. He's not a gross horse, so I'm not that concerned about his fitness levels. I think to my eye, he looks pretty good. If he can get the right run, you know, the breed Savabeels are having a great run at the moment in staying races back in Australia. Danny's riding well, but I think he could be a roughie.
So there's the thoughts of some of the trainers. Well, most of the trainers. I think we've got the field covered fairly nicely there. Any confidence instilled from what you heard there?
Listening to Michael Freedman talk about Nandara, I think he gives it a bit of a sneaky hope, and he's an interesting runner in the race. A runner going back a month ago, I wouldn't have thought we'd be seeing in the race, but he's persisted, despite the fact he missed the right 1800 metre race and he ran over 1400 metres. He persisted in this race, and there was just a sense of confidence that he's going to run a good race over 2200 metres, I thought.
Well, he's from the results stable, and I did go back last year. Risky Business raced over a mile the Friday before the Gold Cup, so 9 days out, exactly what Nandara did with only a 200 metre difference. So you know, it can be done.
Yeah. You
can run over a short trip and then bounce up to the 2,200 metres. What about Steve Burridge? If he gets the same run, he'll win.
Yeah.
A little bit cheeky, I thought.
Yeah. And he'll be praying for a bit of rain. I think if the rain comes, it will help a horse like Risky Business, obviously. And a horse like Martial Art, he probably gets a good chance, and Hint doesn't mind a bit of the sting out of the ground as well.
I think with Stephen Burridge, when you go to a barrier draw and you walk away with 17 and 15 and 10 or something, you're probably a bit blasé about life.
Baron Vorster's seemed pretty happy with his draw with Lazar, because he said at least he's got a few options. He can go forward if something wants to go quick. He can just take a sit on him.
Well, I'm sure they'll look at the speed map and see that there isn't a lot of speed, so there'll be something unusual up there somewhere. Trying to figure out who it is probably going to be impossible, but I'm sure there'll be 1 or 2 that we're not expecting to go up there. It might seize the initiative. I
thought Poligno might go up there from a wide draw. I don't think they've got any option. Blinkers are on. He's been, you know, up on the speed in shorter races. I thought he'd go forward, and I thought the way he trialled, they really gave him a test on Tuesday at the trials. He might run a little bit of a race. He's obviously a good quality horse, but whether he can run 2002, we don't know.
We saw Trafalgar Legacy with Pat. We didn't think he'd run. Well, I didn't think he'd run the 2,000 metres, but he ended up running a terrific race in the Derby. So Poligno, from a wide gate, might do a similar thing to what Trafalgar Legacy did in the Derby.
I think it's a race, and to be brutally honest, I've got no idea. But I'm going to go 4, 9, 5 and 8, but I would not be shocked if any one of 12 won the race.
I like Lazar from his inside draw. I think he's going quite well, and I think just going to get a nice run in transit. I think the barriers are important. He's drawn well. Honest Broker, he's going to be the one at good odds. I think he can get into the first four. Flying Fulton, he's tough as they come. And Eldorado from the inside draw, he should get a nice run, and he's proven in this race before.
And I'm hoping Joe Marrera will win with martial art to beat Clint Lazar. And I put in Morris Utrillo. I thought his last start effort was very good. 11, 4, 9 and 10, but very, very tough to call.
Tarntown Loon likes Eldorado. Martial art for the Shimindale News, and Eldorado for Liana Wampau.